Hello everyone, this is Father Mariano Vicky, missionary in the U.S. Today is June 2nd and our Gospel reading comes from Mark 12:13. Some Pharisees and Herodians were sent to Jesus to ensnare him in his speech. They came and said to him, "Teacher, we know that you are a truthful man and that you are not concerned with anyone's opinion. You do not regard a person's status, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it lawful to pay the census tax to Caesar or not? Should we pay or should we not pay?" Knowing their hypocrisy, he said to them, "Why are you testing me? Bring me a denarius to look at." They brought one to him, and he said to them, "Whose image and inscription is this?" They replied to him, "Caesar's." So Jesus said to them, "Repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God." They were utterly amazed at him. Brothers and sisters, just prior to today's gospel reading, the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders confronted Jesus in the temple area while he taught, challenging his authority to drive out the money changers and the merchants from the temple area. Though they withdrew out of fear of opposition from the crowds, they sent the Pharisees and the Herodians to trap him. So this is the context in which this conversation happens. Today's conversation happens in the context of Jesus driving out all the merchants from the temple area. And that is why the Herodians and the Pharisees decide to confront him. Now, what is very interesting here is that we usually focus, when we comment on this gospel, we tend to focus on the answer, that Jesus gives, to the Pharisees and the Herodians' questions. But I think there is another point that we can actually reflect on today, and it's something that reflects very much the human heart. Something that we can learn about ourselves, and something that we definitely need to improve in our human heart. Why I'm saying this? Because the alliance of these 5 groups, who were often opposed to one another, especially the Pharisees and the Herodians, well illustrate the old saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So the Pharisees were known for their strict adherence to oral traditions derived from the Mosaic law. They frequently clashed with the chief priest and the elders, who focused on temple worship and ceremonial rites. In other words, the Pharisees and the chief priest and the elders were always clashing. The Pharisees also clashed with the Herodians. As their name tells us, they were despised by the Pharisees and the other religious leaders of the time because of their support of Herod and the Roman occupation. Their alliance to Rome enabled them to maintain political influence under Herod's rule. So, despite their usual animosity between the groups, these groups united in their shared desire to oppose Jesus. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, his ongoing influence among the people, his teaching that exposed their hypocrisy and his actions in the temple all threatened their authority and their control. And that is why they felt they needed to do something against Jesus. So, though all 5 of these groups are less than inspirational, we can learn something from them. And we can learn something about our own heart. They depict fallen human tendencies. Fallen tendencies such as pride, fear, self-interest, that we all struggle with. First, true unity. Okay, because we see that these groups are kind of united now, right? But true unity only comes from aligning our lives, aligning ourselves with God and His truth. This alliance, this unity, true unity to truth and to God, will foster humility, charity, and a true desire to seek God's will above all our interests, above all things. By contrast, the quote-unquote unity shared by the coalition of factions, the Pharisees, the Herodians, the priests and the elders, it's grounded in malice. That is why it's not true unity. Hatred can so blind us that we turn from our core values and seek ways that fuel our resentment. This is precisely what these normally divided groups did. Their mutual hatred for Jesus and fear of losing influence over the community drove them to unite in a shared mission of opposition, something we too can fall into if we let malice guide us. So, where is true unity to be found? In any group of people, in any group of composed of human beings, true unity will always come from our personal adherence to God and to the truth. Without that fundamental core value, we will never obtain true unity in any sort of human community. Any human community that is rooted on something different from God and His truth, will inevitably fail. It will be sooner or later divided, because their hearts, the heart of the people composing, that human society, is not rooted in God and His truth. So as we begin our day today, and as we continue to meditate on this gospel reading, let us ask our Lord, through the intercession of our Blessed Mother, for the gift, for the grace to always remain in His truth, so we can also remain united as His mystical body. God bless you all.
Thank you for watching. If you or a loved one find this series fruitful, please consider subscribing and sharing with a friend. For those interested in more content from our priests around the world, please visit the description below, or visit iveamerica.org/blog. That's iveamerica.org/blog.